Welcome to another episode of Cork in the North, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Very quickly, before we crack on with this week's episode, I want to talk to you about our friends down at the Doyen. The Doyen pub is on the Lisburn Road. You get 25% off your food if you use the code CORK25 Wednesday to Saturday. It's a great venue, the Doyen, for comedy, for food, for drinks, for sport, for parking. There's great parking there. And there's good toilets. And it's very clean now. And you can also hire the function rooms for weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs, your uncle's 50th, your grandfather's 35th, wherever you're from, whatever. Anyway, you can hire it. It's a great spot, Doyen. We're down there doing our live show on Sunday the 22nd. So please do buy tickets for the live podcast. Come down to the Doyen and use their facilities. Have a bit of lunch. Have a drink. Take him out, take her out, go down there midweek, have a little bit of a treat. The cost of everything's coming up, but the Doyen is giving you 25% off if you use the code CORK25. We're fans of them, they're fans of us. We've been talking about the Doyen all year, and we are delighted to be working with them because it's a great venue. Hire it out for birthdays, anything. So details below on the Doyen. Please do check it out. Also as well, I want to talk to you about the Patreon. £2 a month for 3 extra episodes to be released on a Monday. Sign up.
Back.
It's back. With the summer off, I was busy. Festivals, writing shows, out on tour. Right, cut my hair too short. Looks like I'm going bald, but in about 2 weeks, I'm going to look grey again. Now, what you got to do is sign up to the Patreon. For £2, you get 3 extra episodes a month delivered to you on a Monday. You also get discounts on live shows. You also get first access to my tour tickets. You also get an opportunity where you can message us and talk to us. We might do some stuff for you, help you guys out, send a few videos. We'll do whatever you want. We want people to subscribe to the podcast. If you can give us £2 a month, it helps the podcast grow and amazing guests like you've just seen. Okay? So thanks to everybody for that. We do appreciate it. Here's this week's episode. Cork in the North. Thank you, everybody. Joining me this week, ladies and gentlemen, is the lead singer of the brilliant band, picture this, Ryan Hennessy, a former bandmate of mine until I was rudely kicked out of the band after one gig. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. He's a big fan of the podcast. I'm delighted. He messaged me and said he always listens. So it was great to get him on. He comes up. He's one of our, I suppose, a few people that we can say that are up there with some of the biggest bands this country's ever produced. So Ryan, thanks for coming on to Cork in the North.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you. Now, before we begin, Ryan, can we just say Ryan asked to come on?
Yeah.
Can we confirm that?
You can say that.
I have not chased Ryan to be on this podcast. He approached us because we wouldn't have probably had the confidence to have approached him because of who he is and stuff like that. So he asked us. So I just want people out there going, oh, he only got him because of the radio. No, he came here.
Yeah, I'm the fan.
Okay, he came here.
Humble brag.
A humble brag. So just so if there's any other people out there like Liam Gallagher, just come. Just DMs are open, baby. Don't be shy. DMs are open. Ryan, great to see you. You're back up in Belfast. Obviously, it's nice of you to come into the podcast. Would you spend a lot of time up here on your off when you're not in the band and stuff? You're not playing.
Yeah, I do. I've got some family and stuff up here, so I come up quite a bit. I've always really liked it. It feels weirdly like where I'm from. I'm from Athy in Kildare, and there's.
Now, I've never been to Athy, so I can't compare it for you.
Okay.
But I imagine it's the same. There's religious segregation. There's been a history of terrorism.
All the usual.
Policing is terrible. There's a lack of government.
Exactly.
It's very similar.
Exactly. That's exactly what I meant by it. No, I think in terms of I like the characters. There's such great characters up here, just in the north in general, and it's very like Kildare and Athy. I was at a party there at the weekend. I'm in kind of home and around Ireland for the week, just seeing family and stuff. And there was a guy I was talking to in the pub. It was my sister's birthday party.
Is this in Athy?
Yeah, down in Athy. And there's a million stories, most of them that I can't tell on the podcast. But there was a guy there, and I was chatting away to him. Then my brother-in-law came up to me and said, "This man is the only man that was robbing a bank and had to call the guards on himself because he got stuck in the window." Robbing the bank. So he had to ring the guards on himself to be like, "He's may come and get me because I'm stuck in the window." So that's the type of people you're dealing with. You know?
Very similar. Very, very, very. A lot of people like that, I presume, up here as well that would have done that. That's brilliant. Do you, when you go home, obviously you're living in London and you're obviously busy with the band, recording and doing all that kind of stuff. When you come home, how has your relationship with the family changed over the last 10 years or so, with obviously everything that's happened to you, and your successes and stuff? When you get in home, is it that, it's the smell of home? just the smell of the house now, the house that I grew up in. How have people reacted to everything that's happened to you?
Yeah, it is that. It's like a relaxing feeling. When I get home, like with my immediate family, I'm the youngest of 4.
Same.
And then,
yeah.
Same with here as well.
We're all the youngest of 4s, yeah. So we're the needy ones.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I still just feel like the baby of the family, you know what I mean? I'm still treated like special, like the baby. I've got an older brother and 2 older sisters. But it is that thing of when I get home, it's like it's really relaxing in being in the 4 walls of my own house, and then it's...
Are we talking like kicking shoes off, potato sandwiches,
the usual,
lying on the sofa, tracky, not arsed, phone off, hair all over the place, the mother, the father, the brother coming in, going, what's crack?
Yeah,
it's just very normal. It's not like, oh my God, there's that guy from Picture This. It's very like, Ryan, can you do you like bring in the shopping? Do you go do the shopping? Do you like the fire? Like, it's a very normal.
Well, I was always lazy before, so I'm not doing any of that anyway. I never did any of that.
But my job as a kid was the fire.
Right, okay.
I had to, the briquettes, the coal.
I like doing the fire, I have to say.
Fire is good.
There's something manly about it, isn't it?
Yeah, like I'm heating this all up now.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel great after.
My job was to heat you up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm not paying for the coal, but like I'll heat it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How have your family reacted to your successes over the last sort of 10 years with the band and stuff?
It's been amazing. Like, my family are amazing, I have to say. They're just so... They're our biggest fans, you know what I mean? And genuine, they're all lovers of music. I don't come from like a musical family. I come from a sporting family, like.
Yeah.
But they're just delighted and so proud all the time. And they always say, my dad always says the same line. People always say to him, you know, you must be so proud. And he says, yeah, I'm proud of all of my children. The same, you know, he just wanted to be like, yeah, I'm so proud of my son.
The one child.
Yeah.
Do your 2 sisters and brother ever get this? And I'm sure they might say to you, they could be out on a Saturday night in a pub and someone come up to you and be like, but could ask, give me one of your sisters' names.
Tanya.
Hi Tanya, how are you? Good. How's Ryan?
Yeah.
Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
And they kind of go, I'm a person too.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, my brother used to get that quite a bit. Like, I see your brother popping up in the, I'm a teacher, teacher's going well.
They get that I become their identity. Yeah, that's
exactly.
So true. And my ma gets it all the time because she works in like the local shop there, and they're always like, why are you still working in the shop? Like your son's a superstar. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but just see his debt.
The debt that he has no money. Yeah.
What does your sisters and brother do for jobs?
My brother lives in Manchester. He's lived in Manchester.
Salford?
He lives in Salford.
Yeah.
I think for like 10 years now he's lived in Manchester.
What's he doing out there?
He works in like a factory.
Oh, very
he's
good.
always been like the
Is he in the Kellogg's factory by chance?
No, he's not.
There's a big Kellogg's factory out there.
Is there?
Massive production.
No, I actually don't know what he does. It's like screen printing or something.
Oh, very good.
But he's always the one that was like the proper hard worker. I was always the lazy one.
Yeah.
And then but they all work like normal jobs, if that's what you want to call it.
And then you're a spanner in the works, then it comes into the middle, like going, what?
Yeah.
There's a singer in that house?
Yeah. I was always like the kind of, because do you know what? I'm lucky because I used to always say to my parents, I remember being 18 and being on the dole when I left school.
Yeah.
I've never had a job. And I remember being on the dole and they were getting on to me all the time, being like, you have to do something. Like, you need to get a job. And I always remember vividly saying to my ma, being like, and this sounds ridiculous, but I remember saying to her, like, because I wasn't really into music at this point. I only started singing when I was 18. So I remember just saying, like, there's something going to happen to me. I can just feel that there's something coming. And that sounds ridiculous, but the fact that it happened kind of means that, you know, it paid off. I'm sure there's a load of lads around the country going, no, I'm telling you, I'm on the dole, but something's going to happen, I swear to God.
And then when it doesn't happen, it's never their fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Well, I was screwed over there, you know?
Yeah.
It's strange when you talk about that. Like, I didn't do particularly well in my leaving, right? I think I got about 180 points. Right. And I went and got a job working in a bar in a hotel. And from the age of my first memory of comedy, right? And you probably have, there's probably a time that comes to your head about music is that my dad was driving me to Gaelic football training when I was 8.
Right.
And we got into the car and he was listening to Scrap Saturday, Dermot Morgan, which was the Charlie, I mean, it's late 80s now, like the Charlie Haughey, Dermot Morgan, just before Father Ted.
Okay.
And he used to do these radio shows. And I remember my dad driving the car. And now I wouldn't have known anything about this, but he laughed so much. I actually went, what is that?
Right,
like, what is that?
Yeah.
What is happening that's making my dad actually slow the car down and go, I can't stop laughing.
Yeah.
And that was the first memory I have of comedy.
Right, yeah.
And ever since then, Father Ted, Black Books, League of Gentlemen, Mighty Boosh, I just boom.
Yeah.
And it must have been when you were like 18, did you have something in the back of your head that was like, I know it's there, I just don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, was it?
Yeah, I think for me, I started writing poetry at a very young age.
Yeah.
Like I remember writing. My granddad passed away, and he wrote poetry, and that was kind of my way of like acknowledging his passing or whatever. Was I wrote a poem to put on his grave, and my dad had written poetry as well. But they just all have normal jobs. They weren't like poet laureates going around the place. You know what I mean? But there was something about words that always kind of stuck with me, and I was always interested in. It was kind of the only thing I was good at in school was like English. There was just something about words even more than music, like poetry and that kind of way of expressing yourself, because I was always quite quiet as well. But so I knew the power of words and when to use them.
Because like you're very softly spoken, but when you perform, it's like whoa.
Yeah.
Like even here now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you were writing the poetry, did you have that Irishness thing of where you go, this is a bit awkward now, but you know, like the embarrassment of like you're writing fucking poetry, like
totally.
Who do you think you are, John B. Keane?
Yeah,
like, you know, something like that. Like
I didn't tell anybody for years. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I was because like I grew up in a council estate in Athy where you went out on the street, fight, play football, chase women. That was and I loved it. And like I couldn't go out and be like, check out this poem.
Here,
poem I wrote about my feelings.
Or Seamus Heaney going about there.
Yeah.
The leaves were brown today. Punch.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't even know what I could have been writing about at the age of 7. You know what I mean? What was I feeling? It's probably about.
But obviously, there was something inside you that pushed you towards it. You know, because it was kind of like swimming upstream rather than downstream. You know, like there's something inside you. You know.
Yeah.
I would like to think we've got quite a lot of things in common because obviously. I'm very lucky and to have done a lot of cool things in my life, performance in big rooms, and I've done the Apollo and performed, comedy to like 3,000 people, and obviously you're, in a band it's very different and stuff like that, like, but there's kind of comedic milestones that you kind of do, you know what I mean, as I presume music milestones and stuff. Yeah. But I will say doing Belsonic this year absolutely off me nut was one of the best things I've done. The amount of messages.
Yeah.
Somebody messaged me because I couldn't get signal because there were so many phones in the area.
Right, yeah.
Somebody messaged me going, what the fuck are you doing up there? Question mark.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and then there was somebody else going, Andrew Ryan is having his main character moment. Right?
I love it.
Because it was quite odd to have done that and have going, yeah, I'll just do it. Yeah. It was brilliant though, but I really appreciate that. One thing I've learned in this industry, in comedy industry, and you might know, there's a lot of bullshitters.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of bullshit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you kind of get used to it. Mm-hmm. You kind of get used to, I'll give you a call about that.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know yourself.
That,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to actually, for you to, of us had a joke and you to follow that through meant quite a lot because it was like, not bullshitters.
Yeah.
You know that kind of thing?
Yeah.
How did the lads were all cool with it? Like, was there any sort of like was everything okay? Because I feel like I was imposing.
No, not at all.
How did they take it when you turn around and says,
he's actually coming on? Was Cliff going like, for fuck's sake?
Yeah, well, I was like, fucking go on to Cliff's riser. Like, Cliff will look after you because I knew Cliff's the safe one in a situation like that. But no, we were all, because like we love doing stuff like that because it's like, it just adds an extra energy to a show, and it's like,
it's terrifying.
Something that, yeah.
But then again, obviously we were watching the gig and it was great crack, and I was upstairs down looking up at you up on the stage, and I was kind of going, fucking hell, wow.
Yeah.
And then afterwards I was like, I couldn't do that. And then someone turned around and goes, yeah, but could Ryan do stand-up comedy?
Yeah, and
I just went, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, not at all.
See the point? Like,
yeah,
it's different.
Yeah, even for me, I don't ever get nervous like doing interviews or anything, but coming in here today, because it's like, it's not music based. And like when I did Tea With Me, or I do some like mindful podcasts and stuff with people, I feel terrified because I feel like I'm totally out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's like, so I totally get, and I think as an art form, comedy is the one I admire the most. It's the one that scares me the most. So it's the one that I admire the most.
It seems like one of the last sort of true forms, like would you believe this? I was over in London at the weekend, right? And I was doing a comedy store. I was hosting a comedy store.
Right.
And it's always good crack hosting a comedy store. And the Late Show, we do 2 shows on Saturday. The Late Show, right? The first half, I personally believe, couldn't have gone any better.
Right.
I had the best crack with the crowd. But this woman pulled me up I went into the sound desk to check my timings because, you have to be quite tight with your time and stuff.
Yeah.
He'd say, like, I will do 10 minutes in the first section. And it's like, you have to time yourself. You are done at 10 minutes. Like, there's none of this doing 12 or 13. Like.
Yeah.
And this woman went, excuse me, can I speak to you for a second? I was like, yeah. And when you're in this kind of industry, majority of people, if they like what you do, they'll follow you and they'll come and see you or whatever. But you'd always get to slide, And I just block and delete. I ignore it, forget about it, whatever, right? But this woman comes, she goes, I just want to say I don't like your style.
No way.
And she goes, I find you very aggressive and quite attacking. And I think 5, 7, 8 years ago, I would have been like, oh, I'm very sorry about that.
Right, yeah.
Whereas I just went, well, thank you. 2 things. It ain't changing. And there's the door.
Yeah, that's the way to do
but
it.
the confidence I had.
Yeah.
And the reason being, and I don't know, has it been a gear change in trust with myself as a performer now?
Yeah.
That I've gone, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to a point in your career when you were starting off with the band? Because I know from the start you went internet viral, big, massive sellout first gig.
Yeah.
But was there a point where you go, no, I actually got this? And did it take you a couple of years? You're like, no, I'm a front man. Or did you have to grow into the role? Or what? When did it happen?
I remember the exact moment, and I'm not just saying it because I'm here, but it was Belsonic 2018 was the moment that I became a proper front man.
Really?
Yeah. And it was because I remember when we were first starting out, I remember Jimmy from the band saying, we're going to have to play a show. And that just terrified me. Because like I started music when I was 18. I came out of school, started singing, and it went online and it went viral. And all of a sudden I was in music.
It's like, you know where some bands do the trenches?
Yeah.
Back of a van, sleeping in a petrol station, dog and duck, 5 people in a crowd. You just went...
Yeah, we did. And I think people probably, some of the kind of, like, people who were in the trenches probably held that against us in the beginning, I think, a little bit. Yeah. Because we kind of, but it was like, well, it wasn't my decision that it was going to go...
Well,
like,
you jumped on new media.
Yeah, it was just like I just used it or whatever, but... It was, so I remember when Jimmy said you have to do a show, I was just like, I can't do that. I can't do a show. Like, I can't perform in front of, it was supposed to be 200 people. I was like, I can't do that. I won't be able to get up there. I was only learning how to play guitar as well at the time. And I was just like, I couldn't do that. And then eventually we had to, and that was supposed to be our first ever show in the Grand Social, which got moved to the Academy. Yeah, which was 800. So then your first show was 800 people. And I was like, oh my God. I remember walking out on stage and just being like, I'm either going to have to let this swallow me whole, or I'm going to have to grab it by the scruff of the neck and own it. And I landed somewhere in between that, in that first show. And then for a couple of years, like, Jimmy used to do all the talking on stage in between songs. So I was like, I'd sing the song, and then I'd go get a drink of water because I didn't know what to say in between the songs. And Jimmy would say, oh, thanks for coming out, and this next song is about this, and is everyone having a good night? And I'd be kind of, a bit shy or a bit, like, nervous. But then I remember over those couple of years kind of growing into it and starting to get that bug, but I decided then to take off the guitar and be like, because it felt like a crutch and like it was holding me back and I couldn't run around the stage and all of that. So I did that, and the first show we did was Belsonic in 2018. And I remember when we came off stage, all of the band being like, what the fuck was that? Who is that person on the stage? Because before that, up until then, I was just behind the guitar, behind the mic, singing. But
the light switch went.
It was like, something just happened. It was at that show. I don't know whether it was putting the guitar away, and then it was the energy of walking out to that many people, and it was our first time headlining Belsonic just the year before we had opened for 1975, so it was a switch in 12 months of I
was at that one.
Really?
1975 one.
Yeah.
You didn't get in until they came on stage.
They came on,
No, I remember that one. But I remember going to that, and it was like, I was young. What year was that? It was like 2016.
That was 2017 or 2016.
Yeah, and I remember. So I was still quite young, like 20, maybe 21. Yeah. And I remember feeling old at it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because like I think there was like obviously a big crowd for 1975, but I think it was a fucking massive crowd. Like you go to Belsonic and it's like the support bands. It takes a while before like built up, but I remember it being bonged from the get go, and it was like, because you guys have like such a like at the time a young crowd as well. Yeah. Like,
but your crowd, can I just say, I've been to about 5 concerts this year. So I went to Noah Khan last week, Sting, you. Where else did I go? We're thinking me and Julie are going to go to the Jonas Brothers next week. That'd be a good show. Yeah. Gonna. Noah Khan, Jesus man, the girls must have been 16 with no skirt. And I was like, Jesus, Julie, like they're very young here, aren't they? And that was good. But your crowd, when I look out to some comedians' audiences, I'll take Chris Kent, for example. I take Shane Todd. I take, Zoe Lyons or something like that. I go, that's the crowd I want.
Yeah.
You've got that crowd.
Really well.
You have a crowd that I think, when you look out at a crowd, you go, that's exactly the type of people I want to attract to my music.
Yeah.
I know some comedians, they don't have that with their crowd.
Mm-hmm.
They go, they attract it. They go, it's not. I attract that type of person. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I noticed with your crowd. You know,
very devoted or something, or like like very like to the end. You know,
my niece went to see in Cork, right? And she obviously loves you. And I sent her the clip of me in Belsonic, and she just went, no way. And I went, believe it, because it happened, right? And she'd no ticket, right? And she goes, can you get me a ticket? I went, fuck's sake, right, okay. So I rang her up, and she goes, no. I said, look, me and Ryan are tight. I said, I'll sort it. I said, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, she ended up getting a ticket, and she went, and she was sending me videos, blah, blah, blah. She was at the back, and I went, well, I was at the front. You know, I was like winding her up all the time. And she goes, oh my God, it was so good, and all this kind of stuff. Like, and I was like going, isn't it great that I can have the exact same experience at something and my niece can have the exact same experience?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Amazing,
and I think that's the beauty of the music as well.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, we're very lucky because it was something that shocked us when we first started playing was like, because online we had seen that was like mostly like young girls following us or whatever. But then from the very first show, it's been a mix of men and women, but all ages. That's the part that really shocked us. Like you do get grannies coming with their grandchildren and grandfathers and all of this kind of stuff. It's a really nice mix, and the atmosphere, like you've been there, it's like I compare it to like a football crowd or crowds sometimes because they're rowdy. Like I think if you heard Picture This on the radio and then saw our show, I don't think you'd put the two of them together in a way. You might think those on the radio is very pop and polished or whatever, but when you see us live, it's like a rock and roll show, and it feels like that kind of football crowd to me.
Are you still as excited about it today as when you were when you started? Like you've done, I think on average you normally release an album every 2 years or so. So apart, actually it was the pandemic here. I think the Park Card came out 3 years after. But do you still go, yes, I'm writing today, or is it like, how is it? The more experience you get, the better you get, the more excited you get because you know you've got the experience to it. Like, does it still really excite you?
Yeah, it does. It's all. I got asked. I was doing an interview this morning, and the interviewer asked me, like, do you find it hard to switch off the Picture This thing and just be yourself? And I was like, I don't want to switch off the Picture This thing ever. And I only kind of realized that in answering him. I was like, 24/7, it's all I think about, it's all I care about, it's all I do. And when I have a day off or something like that, it's like I hate it. And it's not, it used to be because, you know, when people say, oh, if you get a day off, you start to get in on yourself, or you get a bit moody and you have to sit with your thoughts or whatever. But for me, it's not that. It's just like I just want to be doing something because I love it so much. So that's why, like, having a day off up here, I was like, I can see if you're around, come in and do the podcast, do something that's like gonna
that relates to Picture This, like
something that's just going to feed me. Like I'm still as passionate and still as hungry.
You're a performer, Ryan. You're needy. You're like all of us.
Yeah, I am. I'm so fucking needy. Yeah. I just need.
You're the youngest of four, mate.
Yeah,
you know I mean?
exactly.
You used to write poetry when you were 18. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Something not right there. And let me talk to you about the gigs you did here. So you did Belsonic, Dublin, and Cork. You worked your way down. Can I ask you? You had a week in between each show because you did them at the weekends, right?
Yeah.
What is the routine of the band for those 3 weeks? So do you come together the day before and then you leave each other for 4 days? How does it work? When you're not performing, how often do you see the lads? What's the kind of crack with all of that? What's the relationship like when you're not together?
All the time.
Can I just get, you have a WhatsApp group, yeah?
Yeah.
What's it called? Picture This?
No.
Like what's the
It's actually called Late Night FIFA is what our WhatsApp group is called. It's always been called that.
Late Night FIFA?
Yeah.
So you big FIFA lads?
Yeah.
So do you hook up and play online?
No, we used to, like when the band was starting, that was how we would gather. We'd always gather in Owen's house and play FIFA just until like 3 or 4 in the morning for like the first 2 or 3 years of the band. That's all we did. Like, and that would be where we'd start to come up with ideas and stuff because it was quite casual. You'd be playing FIFA and then you'd be like, why don't we do this like with the band? Or why don't we do that? Because we were just like friends. You know what I mean?
Is it a goal to get a song in FIFA?
Absolutely, I would love that. I don't think our music suits it. That's the only thing.
There's definitely
take my hand, goal, goal.
Yeah, I don't know if
take my hand, goal. You know what I mean? Park car, goal.
Yeah, park car conversations would work actually. That's it.
One drink could have.
One drink, yeah, that's a great shout. Yeah, that would have been perfect. Yeah.
So what's the crack with the routine of the band? How do you do this? Because we have seen we know to go into studios and stuff like that. But what's the crack when you're not gigging? How does it work?
Well, we are always together. Like, for example, last month we went to Dubai to play a show.
Yeah.
And then we only literally went there for 48 hours because it was like too hot to stay around. We were just like, we'll go play the show. And then the 4 of us went to the Aran Islands for like a few days.
Yeah.
And everyone was kind of laughing at us. Like, you were in Dubai, you could have been there for the week. You would have had all expenses paid for your show. But instead, the 4 of us went and slept in like bunk beds in a hostel. And
was that just going to piss for the weekend?
Yeah. It was just that. And it was kind of the come down after that month of shows to be like, that's something that we always do after shows. We go on a holiday together. We'd usually go to like Spain or Croatia.
And do partners come, or is it just the lads?
Just the lads. Because that's kind of our thing, is that like, even say an hour before a show, everyone knows to leave us alone. And for like the 20 minutes after the show, like, let us be together, and then we'll go and do the show, and then let us be together, and then everyone can kind of come in. But it's important for us to just be together in our company, because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are going out on the stage, and we have that rapport with ourselves. You don't want a manager or a label person or a drunk comedian coming in, you know what I mean, like 20 minutes before you're going on stage.
Adding value to the show, Mike. Adding value.
Yeah.
So when you finished Belsonic, you went off to Spain.
When we finished Belsonic,
You went off,
I went
right,
off.
because I saw it on Instagram. You finished Belsonic Saturday.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, just talk me through that week if you can remember it. So you finished Belsonic Saturday night. Where did you stay Saturday night? Were you in a hotel in Belfast? Or did you go down to family? Or
yeah,
what?
I was in a hotel in Belfast.
Right, so you finish the thing, go out, a few drinks, whatever you do.
Yeah.
Sunday morning you wake up.
Yeah.
Do you all split?
Sunday morning, yeah, you'd split. Like in that case, we did, because I was literally going to Madrid myself, and the boys were going home. So you just wake up in the morning, see each other at like, we very rarely make breakfast, but we'd all see each other in the car park, say our goodbyes, and then everyone kind of go their separate ways with their partners.
And you go, right, we're in Dublin Saturday.
Yeah.
What are you meeting up Friday?
Yeah, we'd go, because we'd stay there like the Friday night. We'd all go meet up, hang out, and then go to the show. And like, we're always, I know a lot
So
of
you have a week
artists-
away from them.
Yeah, we did. In that circumstance, we did, because like it was just every weekend. But then there was, for say coming up to Dublin. Was Dublin the first show? Dublin was actually the first show.
First show, Dublin, Belfast, Cork, yeah.
And so the week before that, myself and Jimmy just got an Airbnb in Wicklow and wrote songs together for the week. We were just, we just wanted to make music, so it was just the 2 of us in an Airbnb. And then we went into like 2 days of rehearsal with the band. They came up the last night to the Airbnb. We had dinner together. Then we went, rehearsed for 2 days, and then went and did the Dublin show. So that was just like, that's the kind of thing that we would always do. Just get together. We're just always together, really.
Yeah, so it seems to be, from what I can gather, is it's like a family.
Yeah.
You come together, you have the crack, you do your normal stuff, go for your walks, have a pint, play a bit of music. But through the conversations, ideas, stuff kind of like flow and stuff, isn't it? Like,
exactly.
It's about rhythm, isn't it? Like getting the rhythm right of the lads, and you know, if you have an idea or something like that. Yeah, I find that it kind of interests me, because like you hear stuff about bands like, oh, the lead singer doesn't speak to the other people and all this kind of stuff. Where actually you're actually kind of going, no, anyone up for FIFA?
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
You know, it's
it's quite innocent. Like it is, and like, for example, we're going to Switzerland now this weekend, and we get there on Friday. We're not playing till Saturday, and our guitarist has started tattooing, so he's done like 10 or 15 tattoos on me now. But we bought like a tattoo machine together, and then he just.
You know, I'm actually getting one. I want to get one.
Are you really? Yeah.
So you know what? I'm actually.
You're getting a tattoo.
I'm getting a tattoo machine.
No, seriously. I said it to Julie. I wanted to get a tattoo, and I went into, when I was in London, I went into a guy and I talked to him about it. And when I was at the Edinburgh Festival for 2 weeks, me and Julie walked in, and I said, like, I was thinking about getting it done in Edinburgh. I want to get a little tattoo here, or I was thinking about getting it here or here.
Yeah.
Do you know what'd be really good? Picture this, tattoo me.
Yeah, exactly. Owen's amazing.
Is he?
Yeah.
Let me sort that out.
Yeah, sort it out.
Go down his picture, this, tattoo me. And he could tattoo me, and I can. And is he doing it as a business as well, or is he just doing it for the crack?
He's just doing it on
just
me
walking
for
around
now.
going, hey, come here.
Yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah. He's
Just swastika. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
I'll take that one out.
Yeah, he hasn't done any of them
Putin.
yet. Yeah, not that I know of. But he's just been tattooing me for now. But he's like incredible at it. Like, he's really good, so he'll be able to tattoo like anybody.
Yeah. Away from music, away from everything you do in the band, and I know you're talking about like you just want to constantly be doing something, but like if there was no music, what's Ryan Hennessy doing? What are you getting up to? Are you into the gym? Are you into sport? I know you do a little bit of boxing training and stuff like that. Are you into cycling? Do you go to soccer? Like what do you do?
Yeah, well, soccer was always my biggest love my whole life.
Yeah. Man United fan.
Man United
Now,
fan.
while we have you,
As
a little gift from Cork in the North to Ryan Hennessy. We know I'm a big Man United fan, and after watching what happened at the weekend, I have a little gift for you, Ryan.
Okay.
This is Clive Tilsley's commentary notes from the 1999 Champions League final.
No way.
And I'd like to give you that as a gift for your apartment in London.
Holy shit.
So Clive Tilsley, who did Man United must score, Man United always score. That's his
amazing.
commentary notes.
Holy shit.
So I thought I'd like to give you that as a gift.
Thank you so much.
So I'll give you the bag as well and take that when you leave. But that's just his commentary notes that he wrote the night when he was commentating on that great night at the New Camp.
Fucking hell.
You got your Gary Neville, your Jaap Stam, your Ronnie Johnson, your Nicky Butts. And they were the notes that he worked off commentating on the game, and the substitutes there as well, the Bayern Munich team as well. It's a copy of that, what he does. And I thought, as a United fan, every United fan, it's still probably the only night I've ever cried at a football match.
Really? I cried at the 2008 one as well.
Yeah, and I had a season ticket that year. I had a season ticket for 5 seasons, and that year was my final year. I wasn't in Russia, but I was at the semi-final against Barcelona. I sat in the K stand, and Ian Brown from the Stone Roses was about 6 rows in front of me. Wow, he's a season ticket there, cool. And I used to sit there for years, and I saw some of the greatest football, man.
Yeah.
Even things like Alan Smith, Henrik Larsson, Wes Brown, Darren Fletcher, Phil Bardsley, even Gabriela Heinze, Ronaldo's 2 seasons where he scored the 40 goals plus. There was just Louis. Do you know what the most underrated striker for Man United? Louis Saha. When Louis Saha was fit,
unbelievable.
His goal ratio was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But so I thought, as a United fan, instead of giving you a picture of Old Trafford, I thought something that reminds you of a unique time in the club that you wouldn't think about.
That's so
there's
cool,
something
man.
for you, man.
Thank you so much.
You can put that up on your flat or take out the area of London that you live in.
Yeah, please take that.
Hopefully you get something out of that.
That's so cool.
It's interesting, isn't
That's
it?
really fucking cool.
So it's just something that you can put up in your hallway or in your toilet.
Absolutely.
People come in and they look at it and they go, "Oh, what was that?"
Because
you don't think of stuff like that.
Not at all. Yeah, that's so cool. I never would have thought of that.
You know what I mean?
Thank you so much.
So I just want you guys to know that I did that.
That's it.
Right? He asked to come on. Not only that, he's getting free stuff.
I'm leaving.
This is what incredible. Cork in the North does. And his bandmate's going to tattoo me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to join Picture This. We're going to be called Picture That. How often, you talked about, I was actually watching you in another interview, and you were talking about your love of the city of Manchester. Yeah. Your brother lives over there, obviously, in Salford. Yeah. Would you go to Old Trafford much? Is football, like you say, soccer is a big thing for you. Does it affect, how much does it play in part of your daily life today? Like, do you have apps now where you're checking scores all the time? Do you plan if you've got a gig at 8 o'clock, right, United are at 3, so we need to get this on in the changing room. Like, how much does it dominate your life?
Yeah, when it comes to shows and stuff like that, I'm usually too engrossed in the show, and I'll just have it on my phone or whatever. But it is I try to get to Old Trafford 2 or 3 times a year. Yeah. And anytime we're playing there, it usually does coincide. I've been lucky enough to go.
Get a home game.
And I've got great friends there, like John O'Shea, who always looks after me with tickets and stuff. Yeah. And that's...
Yeah, he's my mate as well.
It's
I mean, Johnny!
John O, yeah. Shazy.
Go away! Ireland's system manager. Wait.
Yeah. He actually, we went and played for the Ireland team there a couple of months ago through John O. When he was there, he brought us down.
When he was in charge?
Yeah. He actually stung me because he was, I asked him for tickets for a game. I can't remember what it was. I went to one of the games last year and he was like, well, I'm looking after the Ireland team, so will you come down next Sunday or whatever and play for them? I was like, oh fuck, I have to now. But that was like a dream come true as well. In terms of football and its meaning to me, it's the only time I've ever been starstruck in my life. I had an amazing... It's a classic Picture This story. It's like folklore for us now, but it was when Liam Miller sadly passed away. Right, yeah. And they had the charity game for him in Cork.
Roy Keane organised
it, yeah. And I texted my manager at the time because Roy Keane was going to be playing in the game, and he didn't do a lot of those charity games, and I just wanted to see him playing live again. And I texted my manager and said, there's any way we can get tickets for this? And he rang me back half an hour later and was like, got your tickets, do you want to perform on the night at the charity event? And we were like, 100%, because we knew all the United team were going to be there, all the legends. So we went down, watched the game. That was great. Standing in the foyer of the hotel, and basically the whole class of 92 and Roy Keane all walk in, and I felt my knees get weak.
It's brilliant, isn't
it? And it was the first time I've ever felt that in my life, because we meet a lot of fans out and about and they'd be shaking, and I never really understood it until that moment, and I was like, I feel weak. I started sweating. I was looking at them, I was panicking, because these are my heroes. These are on the walls in my room, and I knew I was about to be there, perform in front of them, and I didn't know whether I was going to get to hang out with them, but It did, and we performed, and I was kind of slagging John O'Shea. I said, we got up and we had a few pints in us as well, which we don't usually, like when we go on stage, we never ever drink. We never have.
Well, what I saw
like
backstage at Belsonic is that's a lie.
It's just drugs,
right?
no
it
drink.
It was like a whole family had come over from Colombia to deliver the stuff.
yeah, exactly. That's it. Just drugs. No, but we don't. We're really professional. But that night it wasn't like a gig. It was just get up, play a couple of acoustic songs. So we had a few pints in us. But how I addressed the crowd was, I said, it's an honour to be able to be here tonight and perform in front of our heroes and John O'Shea. And that kind of broke the ice in the room instantly, and it made us less nervous because they were all laughing.
They were, these guys are good.
Yeah, they were like, these will be a bit of crack. And I remember actually just before we went up, I'm actually named after Ryan Giggs, and he came over before we performed because we were drinking. He was like, he put his arm around us. He was like, "You're supposed to be drinking if you're going to be performing up there in a minute." Like, and kind of took me a second to cop who he was, but there was just loads of those moments on the night, and then we performed, got off stage, and then we just went on the piss with them for the whole night, and it was unbelievable.
That's a night you remember for your life, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's always like when people ask about like one of my fondest memories, it's always that, because like we went to some like bar with like Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs,
unbelievable,
all these people, and Jimmy from the band. It was me and Jimmy, and he actually got up and played in the pub. He got up and played drums, and Kevin Kilban sang "Dancing on the Ceiling." Kevin Kilman and David May and Jimmy on the drums. It was unbelievable. It was like, and that is one of my core memories, is because that was everything to me. And even now,
it's amazing how football evokes. You get so passionate about it. Like, I had a strange one. The first time I went to Old Trafford, I went to Man United Ipswich 9-0. And I'll never forget the steps and seeing the red seats. Every step I went up, more red seats would appear.
Yeah.
And it was genuinely, it would grab me. Then I went back and I've seen Keano play quite a few times. I've seen Eric Cantona, who's probably my idol, Eric Cantona. I had a weird one a couple of years ago. I'm doing the Comedy Store and I look over to my left and there's Dean Kiley, the Irish goalkeeping coach.
Right.
He's sitting on the left. And he was the Crystal Palace goalkeeping coach as well. He's sitting with his wife, Tracy. Don't know the guy.
Right.
But I'm exactly like you. I just went,
Yeah.
You know, Dean Kiley unfortunately didn't get enough caps because he was under Shea Given, right?
Right, yeah.
Straight up to him. All right, you Dean Kiley.
Really? Yeah.
I did the most Irish thing, right? I went up and go, Dean, is it?
Yeah.
How's it going? Are you getting on? My nephew's a footballer. He's a goalie for Cork City Academy. You'd have a look at him, will you? He did the most Irish thing. Right?
Classic, yeah.
Took my number.
Right.
Wife took my number. He was working for Stephen Kenny.
Yeah.
Messaged me, goes, front row there for Ireland Belgium in Viva.
No.
Come down. Went out with Stephen Kenny's wife.
Wow.
Stephen Kenny's daughter's son met at the Clayton Hotel.
Right.
Went to the game. Thierry Henry was a coach for Belgium at the time, and I fucking hate him.
Yeah.
Because of what I did in 2010. Never forget, and I will make sure nobody forgets.
Yeah.
Right. 14 years now. 14 years. We will never move on.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I'm very lucky, right? I played against the Man United legends in a football match. So I played against Jaap Stam, Karl Poborski, Paul Parker, Keith Gillespie in a game. And there's something about footballers that I find I get very sort of, wow.
Yeah.
I've been around unbelievable comedians.
Yeah.
You've been around unbelievable musicians.
Yeah.
But
it's
what is it?
Yeah, and it works both ways, I find, because I need the footballers that I'm friends with. They're just obsessed with music and want to know. Like James Madison's a good friend of mine, and I'm just name dropping there, aren't I? John O'Shea, James Madison.
What's that there? Lionel's ringing. Oi, Messi, you coming back or what? sorry, Ryan.
I thought you were going to say Lionel Richie there.
No, Lionel Messi.
Hello.
I just call him Lionel because he hates being called Messi.
Right,
he's very insecure.
Yeah. But I think, he's obsessed with music, and he's always asking me about music, and he's one of the only people I'll like send music to before it comes out and stuff, because he's like a super fan of music and of bands, and he's in awe of that whole thing in the same way as we are with football, and it's a nice kind of exchange, if you know what I mean. I think it's because it's so alien to us,
to them, and
to them.
I suppose it's kind of like that thing we said earlier about I couldn't do what you do, and maybe you couldn't do comedy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look at a footballer, and it's like my nephew was over playing against Man United last couple of weeks ago. He's in the Cork City Academy under 14s. He played Man United under 15s, and the following day they were at the Etihad playing the Man City under 16s. And he was at the Etihad training campus. He's doing really, really well now, right? And I'm watching clips of him against Man United.
Yeah,
with all the
insane.
Man United tech, the coaches. Then he's at the Etihad, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I played against this Italian fella. He's unbelievable. He's going to make Premier League. He's going to be captain of Italy.
Yeah,
He was only like 16. And I'm now looking at my nephew like kind of in awe of my nephew.
Yeah.
I'm like, I change a nappy little shit. Like, but now I'm looking at him going, how are you?
Yeah,
you okay?
yeah,
You training? It's fucked up.
It's mental, yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
I think it's the opposite of what you're good at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
think it is, yeah. And I think as well, like for me anyway, I spent my whole life playing football, and it was like, so you know the level that you have to be at, because I played at a decent level, but so I kind of have the context of how elite they are.
Yeah.
Because I've played.
What level did you play at?
I played with St. Kevin's in Dublin.
Was that Leinster Senior League or something? Is it or?
Well, it was St. Kevin's in Dublin. Was like, I don't know what you would call it now, but I was like underage. So it was like up until like under 15, under 16. So it was, and then it was up until there that I played underage, and then I joined my football team. My in the estate that I'm from is called Clonmullion FC.
Right.
And then
because you just designed their jersey, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, that was. I was just back there. They're actually playing in a couple of weeks. They're unbelievable. They're unbeaten at home in 7 years, and that's so funny to me because when I was playing, we were fucking awful. That was where the standards started to drop. I discovered drink and women and all that. And
hoarding around.
Yeah.
So,
let's guess Ryan's position on the pitch just from looking at him.
People get it wrong every time. Go for it.
I'm going to say I don't think you're a striker.
I'm not.
I'd say you're right back, yeah?
I
was a right back. You're a Gary Neville, mate. Gary Neville's over here.
You're the first one to ever get that right.
I'd say you're a right back.
Everyone always thinks I was real flashy.
No, right back. No, you're soft spoken. You're doing the dirty work.
Yeah, exactly.
You're saying nothing.
Yeah.
Keep the line. Hold the line. Hold the line.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you go about now if you're looking, a kickabout, or like you're looking just some Sunday league? How do you organise that now?
It's a funny one because like there's a lot of, like I was saying about musicians, they're obsessed with football.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of like kind of groups of people that go around playing around Dublin and stuff. And I actually know I want to get involved. There's just James Bay has a great one going in London, where I think where there's like he's obsessed with football as well.
I'm just walking up and there's Paul McCartney in goals.
I know. It does be like crazy, like mad people playing with him.
Do you know there's comedians football up here as well? Right. But also I was on the Two Johnny's podcast recently, and there's talks about Northern Ireland comedy scene and podcast scene versus the Republic of Ireland in Dublin. Big charity day.
Right.
Two Johnny's, the whole island coming together to raise money for something. But it's like comedians and podcasters, male and female, all coming together. We hire a stadium, sell it out through everyone's socials, raise money for a charity, and everyone obviously, so we're thinking about, because we did the boxing. We're trying to do something in the All Ireland scene.
That'd be class.
Because up here, the guys up here are brilliant at doing stuff.
Right,
like the boxing. We did
Boxing's amazing,
boxed in front of 1,000 people.
Yeah.
I was robbed. But like...
I've rewatched it again, Andrew. You weren't wrong.
Sorry, I was stolen from. Would you ever, if you weren't a musician, what would you be, do you think? I think straight up, what do you think you'd be doing if music never came near you?
I think I'd be in fashion, probably.
Yeah.
I think
you do a bit of designing, do you?
Yeah, I do bits and pieces, like the Clonmullion jersey, or I designed this ring that I'm wearing, actually with a Belfast founded company. She's in Glasgow. But yeah, I've always just been interested. I don't think I'd like to, people always ask me and approach me about having my own brand and stuff, which that doesn't really interest me. Because that sounds like a lot of commerce. I'm not interested in that.
Because that's how Oasis broke up now, right? Because he started to put the adverts into the brochure.
Yeah. Pretty green.
There was a straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah. So I have to be careful.
You don't want Cliff kicking off.
Because
he's the quietest one. They're the most dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See on the five-a-side teams and stuff like that. If you had picture this, five-a-side up against Coldplay five-a-side, who's winning?
I'd see Jimmy's great.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Solid defensively.
Yeah.
Visual.
Yeah. Jimmy's got a wand of a left foot on him, which you wouldn't think. He's kind of And then the other two boys are useless, so we'd be fucked. Yeah, we'd be fucked. I think. Coldplay don't look like they could play football to me though.
They wouldn't travel because of the environment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we
don't travel to the gig.
Yeah.
Did you go to Coldplay?
No, I didn't. I've seen them loads of times.
Yeah,
but under
you opened for them at all or anything?
Opened for them? No, never opened for them. No. But I think
was Cliff there?
Cliff was there, yeah.
Because I saw on his socials he was there, and I went, "Fucking hell!" I said, "They're not opening, are they?"
Yeah, no. Because he was up on the stage, wasn't he?
What was he doing?
No, he knows the photographer, so he was up. She was showing him around.
I love how the roles flipped there in terms of like when you were at Belsonic.
Yeah.
As like Cliff's the star. Now he's like, any chance? Like,
Yeah, totally. That's like me with Oasis, for example. It's like I've seen Liam Gallagher now a good few times. We played festivals, and I made all the boys. We played Mad Cool Festival in Madrid last year, and he was headlining. And I made all the boys come to the back of the stage just so I could see him getting into his car. You know what I mean? I was just like, this is just to see him in the flesh was unbelievable.
Have you met him?
I haven't met him. I had a.
Are you worried about his opinion on you because those Gallagher guys like I remember Matty Healy came out and said that Oasis is one of the best. And then Noel Gallagher went and
slated them. Yeah,
and I don't something about that I don't like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I in a way would kind of like them to slag us off.
Just get great PR out of it.
It'd be like a badge of honor. I'd be like, that's quite cool. Like,
you should bait it. You should continuously comment on Oasis to see if they're going
exactly.
Put up tickets to picture this €27.50.
Yeah.
So tell me, did you? Obviously, I presume you'll find a way to go to the gigs.
Yeah,
I'll find a way. I'm not. I didn't expect you to be sitting in a queue.
Yeah, I actually did. I got up just to see, and I tried it, and I was like, this is.
Do you know what would have been really good? You get up, look at the queue, and go, bring my agent. Every gig front row.
Yeah.
There's been a big controversy over this with tickets and music and bands, about the price surging and everything that's been happening and stuff like that.
Yeah.
From a band that sells a lot of tickets, and you guys sell massive tickets across Ireland, UK, Europe, you're really successful. How close are you guys to the price point of your ticket, to the management of it? How does it work? So like, how would Liam and Noel, how would they know about what's happening? How, when you guys are putting a tour on sale, let me say, do you turn around to your management and go, right, no more than €20, no more than €25, whatever your price point is? How does this come about, your ticket price? You know what I mean? How does all this work for you guys?
Yeah, the agent usually and the promoter will come and say, this is the ticket price we're thinking, and then you'd have to give the go ahead. But we've always had a very, very reasonable ticket price.
And I must say, because we're hoping to come to see you in Paris.
Yeah.
€27.50.
Yeah.
In Dublin, that's one Guinness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean? So Oasis, fuck you.
So when you see all that kind of stuff happening, like in the industry, like how does that make you feel?
Well, I think people are giving Noel and Liam too much credit in terms of thinking that they decided that, because when you get to a level that they're at, they're part of a management and label machine that dictated it. I don't for a second believe that Noel and Liam Gallagher were sitting there going, yeah, you should do that dynamic pricing or whatever they were calling it, where they were changing it. I think it's all a management and label thing. I think you'd be giving Noel and Liam a little bit too much credit there, I think.
And tell me, how do you think this, because even like, from somebody that's in the industry and you're sitting there about tickets and stuff like that, like how do you see this playing out? Because even Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, has said, we're going to sort this all out. How can you sort it out? Do you think Oasis can do anything about it? Like, do you have much power? Like if you think you've overpriced for a show and fans are kicking off in your socials about it, like how much power have you got? Like, is there anything, have you had an experience of problems with ticketing and all this kind of thing?
I've never had a problem with it, but I think it's probably gone too far in terms of them now. Like, I don't think there's anything they can do to change. Yeah, I think it's too far. I think what's going to have to happen is with somebody like Keir Starmer, it'll be from now on. That can't happen again. Yeah. It's too late. Like,
the horse is bolted. Like.
Yeah, and if they put on extra shows now, they can't put on cheaper tickets, because then everyone else is going to be like, well, why are they getting cheaper tickets when I paid £300? You know what I mean?
Even if you think they added, say, two Crow Parks, say they added an Aviva and a Parky Queeve, they'll say, right, tickets are no more than €110 and fixed price. You still think the surcharge can still?
I think they still would, because then it's unfair on everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but so somebody paid, say, £800 for a ticket and someone's getting theirs for 120.
Yeah, that's not fair, is it?
It's a strange one, isn't it? Because like Sean, Sean's in a band called Search Party, and they've got a big gig at the Empire coming up.
Right, cool.
Just released a single recently. How does it work for you guys? In terms of, are you just kind of like tenner on the door? Like how does it work?
Most of the time, like yeah. I mean, we done like a wee DIY tour there, like around UK and Ireland, and for us it was just like we put it on ourselves. We didn't even go work with promoters,
right.
So like we were just doing fucking Eventbrite and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's different a bit now. Like with that Empire show, it's like it's with Ticketmaster and stuff. So like we'll work with the venue and the promoter on the night, and just was like, right, okay, so we want it to be this price.
Because like on my tour, my tour, so the stand, I said I wanted to charge no more than £16 a ticket for my stand-up tour.
Right.
Everyone on average charges whatever they want, and that's their business, right? But I say £16 plus booking fees, say about 18 quid. And I go, I want to be less than 20 quid.
Yeah.
I want to be less than 20. So £16 in the north, and I'm €20 in the south.
Okay.
When I went to central Dublin to do the Liberty Hall, 28 was the cheapest I could get because of the cost.
Really? Wow.
And I was like, 28?
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus. For me? For me?
Yeah.
I'm a €19 guy.
Yeah.
28. Do you kind of like sometimes look at it and go, fuck, this is mad? Like,
yeah, I do. Yeah. And like, because there's been talk sometimes, like if we're putting on a tour, to be like, do you want to go with, they'll give you a ticket price, and we're like, nah, I'm not charging somebody that. When because we're kind of known to have a very, very good ticket price. I don't want to become, I think it's weird to reach a certain level and then just start charging people through the roof.
Yeah.
Obviously you can raise it gradually and all of that, but I don't know, because I just remember being young and being like, I can't afford to go to a concert. I don't have any money.
The best concert I was ever at was Páirc Uí Chaoimh Oasis 96, I think it was. One of the best nights of my life. Second time I went to see Oasis was at Manchester City Ground. Etihad. One of the worst gigs I was ever at. Someone pissed into a cup, threw it up in the air, landed on my shoulder. That was before he didn't come on stage. I was sitting there soaked in English urine.
Yeah. Even the worst
Which is the worst urine.
Yeah.
Do you know? What kind of, do you have like, I'm just, before we finish up, just curious, because like, you seem like a guy that's very focused on what you're doing, very successful at what you're doing. You know exactly, clear as day, you come across very calm. What do you worry about? What are your anxieties, if you have any?
That's a good question. What do I worry about? I do worry, like, every time we come back, say, with an album or something, is that, like, do people still care? That's always my worry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't know if they do. It'd be nice to think that they do, and we've got a great social media following and all of that, but it's like every time we come back with a concert or with a tour or with an album, it's like, do people still care? That's the first thing that comes into my mind when you ask me that question. And thankfully, they have every time until now, and I hope that continues. But I worry about that, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a huge worrier.
Right.
I'm not like.
Do you do stuff to keep yourself grounded? Do you do meditation, all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I meditate a lot. I started meditating around 2 years ago, maybe, and that was quite life changing for me. I know that sounds very fucking blasé and wanky.
You're not one of these that gets out of bed at 5 a.m. and sits in a nice cold bath, do you?
No, I'm not. And that's what I think. Yeah, no, fuck that. I could never.
I'm sure it's great. But,
I'm sure.
Sort out the issues in your previous relationships before you start calling on about that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, start posting inspirational quotes. You're like, oh, go away.
No, I'm not one of those.
If I see you posting at 2 o'clock in the morning, Ryan, going, now I know who my real friends are. Block.
Yeah.
I'm ringing up Cliff. Send an ambulance round. He's not well.
He'd be the one posting something like that.
Would he?
Yeah. But that's the thing with meditation and all of that, is that I try, and whenever I'm not preachy about it. I know if someone asks me, I'll talk about it, but it's like people think that when you talk about meditation that you're like, shoes off, 5 o'clock in the morning in like a dedicated room and there's fucking incense and music.
That's right, like
half of the time, like, I have to meditate sometimes on the tube, you know what I mean, or in the back of an Uber or in a dressing room or whatever, you know what I mean. It's not like it's not this whole Zen Buddhism thing.
Yeah.
It's just something that kind of keeps me grounded.
It's see the way, you mentioned about at 18 you're sitting on the dole thinking, nah, something's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Something did happen to you.
Yeah.
Then the whole thing of like, you say people maybe resent you a bit for like how quickly you just blew up.
Mm-hmm.
But see, with those experiences, do you feel a bit spiritual in that way, that you feel connected to something?
Yeah.
That there is something like fate there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very, very spiritual as a person in general. I would say that. Absolutely. I'm not religious, but very, very spiritual and very connected to my purpose, I would say.
Yeah.
That's good.
In life, yeah. And I think that kind of rids a lot of like the anxiety like you're talking about and the worry, is that I do feel very spiritually rich, I would say.
Yeah. Do you know what's really interesting? Because I talked about something recently. I've been doing comedy 17 years, right? And I spent the first 12 years of that in the circuit in England.
Right.
It's a tough slog.
Yeah.
Okay. Doing the clubs and working up and tour supports, and you're getting there. And when I was about 3 years in, I got Russell Howard's Good News on BBC Three. And then I got Live at the Comedy Store. Then I got quite a few TV shows.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready.
Right.
Hurt me.
Yeah.
Actually went backwards.
Right.
Didn't have the stage time, didn't have the stage craft, didn't have the experience, didn't have the composure, resilience, didn't know how to deal with the stress, blah, blah. Kind of floated for a couple of years. Then a big life event happened. Mum got sick, passed away. And then I stopped caring.
Right.
Because I said, I'd lost my mum, I'd lost my girlfriend, and now I've lost my job in a pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm actually still alive. And I can and ever since then I've sold tickets.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Because I think I overcared about something.
Yeah.
And I would force it.
Yeah.
When I relaxed and allowed myself to just be me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Things started to happen.
Yeah.
And I suffer a little bit from imposter syndrome.
Right.
So I've just about sold out the Opera House in Belfast and all this type of stuff. And it's like, I'm actually now spent years fighting for something.
Yeah.
Get a bit of it. Terrified of it.
Yeah.
Do you ever turn up at a gig and you look out and you go, there's 20,000 people here at Belsonic, and you go, what the fuck? Do you ever have that sort of, okay.
Yeah.
Or do you have such calmness within you that you're like, no, I'm built for this?
Yeah, I was going to say I don't identify with imposter syndrome in terms of tying back to what we were saying there, and that I just feel like this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Brilliant, yeah.
I really, really feel that deeply and authentically in my soul or wherever that is. But at the same time, I'm also in total disbelief at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah. When I see a Belsonic crowd, I'm just like, how the fuck did this happen?
Yeah, it's mad. I was playing FIFA with the lads one night.
I know, yeah.
Never in front of Belsonic night.
It's insane.
Oh, Giggsy, gets a point.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's fucking unbelievable.
But that's a great sign.
Yeah.
That you can feel all of that and understand that you're feeling it, because some people don't see how they're feeling.
Yeah.
You know, they just behave in one particular way when actually you seem to be a bit step out of a circle, look around, take it in.
Yeah. It's so important.
Very important,
I spent my whole life for the first 25 years of my life, I'd say, in autopilot and just being you know, and it came a time, it was around the pandemic where I started to do work on myself or whatever you'd call it. And it was literally just zooming out and being able to look at things and being aware of a feeling or an emotion. Because I would be quite a short fuse and quite a volatile person for many years.
Same.
But that was, that's a secondary reaction to something else that's going on. That was something that I learned anyway, that anger is a secondary emotion. You're not getting angry usually. It's being triggered by another emotion. You're getting angry because somebody's made you feel insecure or somebody's made you feel sad or somebody's betrayed you. And then you get angry, you know what I mean? So just a step in between now that I'm able to see, that's actually the real reason why I flipped there. It wasn't because I missed the bus or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's because somebody said something to me earlier in that day that made me feel a bit
It's the straw that broke the camel's back, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing. You do come across incredibly calm, Ryan. It's a great quality to have. And then obviously when you go on stage, you become this unbelievable force on stage. We picture this, a band that have sold so many tickets across the world, and they are starting their European tour in October as well. Please do, if you can. I'm hopefully going to be getting out with Julie to see Picture This across Europe. We've picked one date I think we can actually do. But also hopefully a lot more dates to come for Ryan and the guys in 2025. Another tour next year maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We'll be back. Absolutely.
Yes. Finally might find a way back into the band. Ryan Hennessy coming on Cork in the North. It's been an absolute treat having you, a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me on.
Big fan of you and what you do, and thanks for coming in to have a bit of chat with us, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Absolutely. Thanks for letting me invite myself on. I appreciate it. He did that now. And thank you for the gift. Hey, no worries. Invoices in the post. There's a surcharge because the price is inflated due to the demand. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.